This is Camp Clash. This is going to be the worst competition ever. This is Camp Clash. This is going to be the worst competition ever. This is Camp Clash. Sponsored by chaos, confusion, and questionable decision-making.
Hold on to your butts.
Here we go!
This is Camp Clash. Now, meet your host, Buddha 2 Dope.
Welcome Wastelanders to Camp Clash, the one time of the month where people stop hoarding scrap, stop chasing scorch beasts, and instead ask the important question: what if I turn this rusty shack into a 3-story Taco Bell? That's right, this is the competition where creativity reigns supreme. Or at least until someone builds another giant metal box with 48 turrets and calls it modern art. We've seen it all, people. Don't act like you're original. Some builders come in with actual talent. Handcrafted detail, clever use of glitches, builds so beautiful they'd make Voltec jealous. And others? Well, others are out here proudly showing us a crooked staircase, 2 water purifiers and a mattress on the floor like they're auditioning for Fallout Cribs. And of course, there's always that one contestant who insists on putting their camp on a cliffside. Listen, if your front porch is a death trap where gets need a jetpack and 3 stim packs just to reach your mailbox, maybe rethink the design, okay? But that's the joy of Camp Clash. For one glorious day, we all gather together to admire, ridicule and politely pretend that yes, we can totally tell the difference between a rustic survival retreat and a half-broken shack with no roof. So buckle up, Wastelanders. The lights are on, the camps are glowing, and someone's generator is humming loud enough to drown out your thoughts. This is Camp Clash, where dreams are built, egos are shattered, and somebody, mark my words, is about to proudly present a toilet shrine.
And joining us this month, we've got a very special guest judge, the one, the only, Radrux.
That's right, Wastelanders, the same Red Rocks who's probably judged more camps than half of us have actually built. Known for sharp eyes, sharper opinions, and the uncanny ability to spot a floating foundation from 300 feet away, Red Rocks is here to bring the pain, bring the laughs, and probably make you regret putting the toilet shrine in the living room. So builders, cross your fingers, hide your budget glitches, and brace yourself, because Red Rocks sees everything. Let's get this disaster started.
Oh my god, would you look at this camp by bad notions?
Alright Wastelanders, buckle up, and I mean that literally. Because our next camp is less of a house and more of a midlife crisis on wheels. This one's called Alien Dreams in Red. And if you're ever looking at your rusty old power armor and thought, yeah, but what if it was a Ferrari? Then congratulations, this camp builder has already beat you to it. From the moment you spot this camp, you know exactly what's going on. You crest a hill and suddenly there is it. A big red alien-inspired wasteland sports car. Just chilling where your survival shack should be. And your brain immediately goes, wait, is this allowed? And the answer is no, absolutely not. But the builder did it anyway, and honestly, respect. Now Fallout is a game where most people struggle to make a straight wall. Half the camps out there look like a tornado hit a barbecue. And this builder, they looked at the janky toolset Bethesda gave us and said, yeah, I'm gonna build a Ferrari. And somehow, it worked. Let's talk about details. The curves, the frame, the sheer amount of parts shoved into places where never meant to go. And then my personal favorite, the Gatling plasma engines. I mean, whoever thinks of that? You look at the giant radioactive heavy weapon and go, yep, that's definitely a carburetor. This is what separates true builders from the rest of us. We're just here trying to put a bed down in a corner without clipping it through the wall, and this mad genius is out here reinventing NASCAR with alien tech. Now, fair play, the functionality, let's say, limited. Don't expect to fast travel to this thing and find a cozy little living room inside. Nah. You're not hosting dinner parties in here. The car is basically one giant decorative flex. But here's the thing, the moving parts, they actually work. And look at this C.A.M.P and go, okay, this doesn't just look like a Ferrari, it sort of acts like one too. Which is a sentence I never thought I'd say about a Fallout C.A.M.P. But here we are. And that's where the wow factor comes in. The moment you approach this build, your brain does a double take. You're not thinking about scrap or stash limits or how your armor's about to break for the 10th time today. You're just standing there, mouth open, thinking, is that a car? In Fallout? Why does it look so good? And why does it make me feel weirdly inadequate? This is what I like to call a mind blower C.A.M.P. It's not practical, it doesn't need to be practical, it just exists to flex so hard that every other builder suddenly questions their life choices. You build a nice cabin in the woods? Cute. Somebody else built a neon diner? Awesome. This builder? They built a Wasteland Ferrari. Game over. Of course, we do have to address the elephant in the room. Or should I say, the deathclaw in the garage. Because no matter how good this thing looks, no matter how slick the design is, deep down we all know this baby ain't going anywhere. It's stuck right where it is. The only thing this car is racing is your frame rate. But hey, in a game where half of us can't even place a rock without it disappearing, this is still an achievement. So hats off to Bad Notions. You gave us detail, creativity and functioning. And enough wow factor to make every car enthusiast in the Wasteland need a new pair of Volt 76 trousers. Forget fast cars, this is a fast C.A.M.P. And if you don't like it, well, don't worry, you can always just stand behind it and pretend it left you in the dust.
It's Lady H. I am totally fangirling right now.
Okay, Wastelanders, let's dial it down for a second, because our next C.A.M.P is cozy. It's classy and is giving me what I can only describe as a full-blown nerdgasm. That's right, forget neon diners, forget mutant shrines, forget whatever that guy was doing with 12 porta potties stacked on the top of each other. This is a cottage. A simple, beautiful, perfectly immersive wasteland cottage. Now before you roll your eyes and think, oh great, another wooden hut with a bed in it, let me stop you. This is not your average shack. This cottage doesn't just whisper immersion, it screams it loudly. Like a settler yelling for help after accidentally walking into your turret field. First off, let's talk about the roofing situation. Because Wastelanders, I am looking at this build and I am seeing stairs inside of stairs being used as a roof. Whoever thinks of that? Most of us see a staircase and think, cool, I'll use this to get to the second floor. This builder, they saw a staircase and went, that's shingles, baby. And somehow, against all odds, against every janky snap point in this cursed game, it actually works. It looks so good, Bethesda should honestly hire this person to redo every roof in the game. And it's not just the roof, The details across the entire build are top notch. Every wall, every little decoration, every piece of clutter, all placed with so much care that you half expect to find an NPC inside sipping tea and complaining about taxes. You walk into this cottage and you don't think this is a Fallout camp, you think, wow, this is a home. And then 2 seconds later you think, damn, why doesn't my camp look like this? Now let's move on to function, because here's the thing. A lot of fancy builds in Fallout look amazing, but if you try to actually live in them, you realize the bathroom is on the roof, the stash box is halfway buried in a wall, and you can't actually move around without clipping into a generator. Now this is the rare camp where you look at it and go, yeah, I could live here. Everything is laid out logically. Workbenches are in the right spots. The flow makes sense. You don't need a jetpack just to get to the fridge. Honestly, I'd move in tomorrow if the game would let me. And then there's the immersion factor. You know that feeling when you stumble across a camp and it doesn't feel like random collection of assets. It feels like a place with history, like it belongs in the world. That's what this cottage nails. It's not just a build, it's a vibe. It's the kind of camp that makes you want to sit down by the fire, crack open a Nuka-Cola and forget for a moment that a deathclaw could come in crashing through the door at any second. And that right there is the wow factor. Not size, not flashiness, not 100 neon signs spelling out subscribe to my YouTube. Just pure, thoughtful design that sucks you in and makes you believe. And trust me, in Fallout, where most of us are just duct taping walls together and praying the budget doesn't run out, that's nothing short of a miracle. So heads off to you, Lady H. You gave us immersion, you gave us clever merges, you gave us detail, and you gave us a place that genuinely feels alive. Honestly, I'd trade my whole stash of flux just to spend one night here, assuming of course that the best isn't already clipping halfway into a wall. This cottage is proof that sometimes you don't need to build a spaceship or a skyscraper or a 300-foot tall neon toilet shrine. Sometimes all you need is a cottage, done perfectly.
Get a load of the Akira's camp.
Okay, Wastelanders, gather around, because our next camp is pulling into the station. And this isn't just a train, it's a farewell tour. They are calling it One Last Ride, and if that doesn't sound like the title of a Fast and Furious sequel set in Appalachia, I don't know what does. Now the moment you hear One Last Ride, you know two things. One, you're about to see a camp that looks like a locomotive, and two, you're about to get absolutely body slammed by the Akiras family's build skills. Because yes, of course, it's them again. The same people who can take the most broken, clunky, bug-ridden building system in game and somehow make it look like high art. The rest of us, we're out here slapping down a crooked wall and calling it a day. The Akiras? They're like, yeah, we just merged 30 objects, glitched a few moving pieces into perfect sync and lit the whole thing like a Broadway stage show. No big deal. And here's the thing, this train doesn't just look like a train, it feels alive. The merging, spot on. The moving parts, placed so perfectly you'd swear Todd Howard himself came down from Bethesda HQ, sprinkled a little creation engine fairy dust and said, let there be immersion. The pistons, the wheels, the tiny mechanical touches, it all just works. You walk up to this camp and your brain goes, okay, where do I buy a ticket, and is this going to Whiterun or straight into a loading screen crash? Now let's talk lighting, because of course it wouldn't be an Akira build without lighting so good it makes the rest of us cry into our stash boxes. Every lamp, every neon, every flickering is placed with surgical precision. It's not just lit, it's Akira lit. And that means bold, colorful, dramatic. You don't just see the camp, you feel it. Like a Wasteland rave collide with a steam engine. Somewhere between classy and chaotic, and somehow it works. And the best part, the whole thing has that classic Akira trademark. You take one look at it and instantly you know who built it. That's their signature. For most of us, our signature is a half-finished roof and a stash box blocking the doorway. For the Akiras, it's merging objects so smoothly you forget the game and never designed for this level of artistry. Now let's be real for a second. This camp has function, but not the usual Fallout way. You're not strolling here to find a cozy bedroom or a kitchen where you can cook your spoiled Brahmin meat. No, the function here is vibe, atmosphere. That moment when you step up, hear the clunk of those moving parts, see the glow of the lights and think, holy crap, they made a train and it looks better than anything Bethesda ever gave us. That's the wow factor. Not just size, not just ambition, but execution. Anyone can say, I'm gonna build a train, but only the Akiras can say, I'm gonna build a train that looks so good it makes you feel like the Wasteland should have a full-on Amtrak system. So heads off to one last ride and the Akiras. It's more than just a camp, it's a reminder that even in a game where half the assets looks like they've been through a nuclear explosion, which to be fair they have, some builders can still nail it so perfectly that you forget you're playing Fallout and start wondering if you should be buying a ticket to ride. And to the Akiras, please, for the love of all that's holy, stop making the rest of us look bad. Or don't, because honestly, we kinda love it.
Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's not Barry.
Alright Wastelanders, let's talk about this camp. Because at a distance, this thing is impossible to miss. You're wandering through the hills, minding your own business, maybe whacking a red roach or two, and suddenly you look up and think, wait a minute, did the Brotherhood just move in? Or did I actually fast travel to Timu's clearance section? Yes, my friends, it's a Zeppelin. Or at least, it claims to be a Zeppelin. But unlike most airship builds we've seen in the past, you know, the ones that looks like somebody duct taped 4 trailers together and prayed for the best, this one is actually detailed enough to be recognizable. It's the body, it's got the shape, it's even got enough little doodads sticking out of it to make you think, yeah, if this thing wasn't a static camp piece, I'd probably take off and crash into someone's survival tent. Now let's talk about the wow factor. Most camps you walk by, squint your eyes, tilt your head a little and try to figure out whether you're looking at an actual build or just a pile of misplaced walls. Now this is the kind of camp where you look up, drop your controller and say out loud, okay, that's actually kinda sick. And that's not easy in Fallout 76. Usually the only thing that makes me say wow in the game is when a feral ghoul T-poses across my screen. But here's the kicker. It's not just big, it's not just flashy, it actually has function. And that's where a lot of builds fall apart. You can spend 2 hours making the outside look like an airship, but the inside usually ends up looking like the world's saddest bus station. Not here. This camp manages to give you both creativity on the outside, utility on the inside. It's the Fallout version of a mullet. Business in the back, party up top. And I know what you're thinking. Sure, it looks impressive, but does it really hold up when you walk around it? And the answer is somehow yes. This builder clearly decided that if they were going to spend 12 hours glitching walls into the sky, they might as well commit. Every railing, every catwalk and every piece of decoration says, I did this because I hate free time. Now, small roast incoming, because let's be honest, when you build something like this, you're basically just begging for comparison. Everyone who is walking past is going to say the same thing. Oh hey, is that the Brotherhood of Steel's Pridwan? Or is it like the Pridwan's off-brand cousin? You know, the one that keeps parked because it failed Brotherhood quality inspection. Sorry Initiate, you can't ride in the real airship, but here's the knockoff we bought on the item shop. But honestly, who cares? It looks amazing, it's ambitious, it makes most of us feel bad about our sad little one-floor survival camp where the bedroom is literally just a bucket behind a curtain. This thing screams aspiration. And most importantly, it has that rare magical Fallout quality. You show it to a friend, they look up at it and they don't say, what's that supposed to be? They say, oh damn, that's a blimp. And if you can build something in Fallout that's instantly recognizable without someone needing a PowerPoint presentation, congratulations, you've already won. So hats off to this airship builder. You gave us function, creativity and a giant floating middle finger to anyone who thought building in this game was easy. If the Brotherhood of Steel ever comes back, they're going to see this thing and think, oh great, now we've got competition. And hey, worst case scenario, if it doesn't fly, at least it makes a great target for every random Scourge Beast in the 5-mile radius. Which honestly might be the most Fallout 76 feature of them all.
Shit, Apocalyptic Kova makes my camp look bad.
Alright Wastelanders, our next camp is a truck. Yep, not a diner, not a blimp, not another shrine to the porcelain gods, but a full-blown unimog. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically a small military truck. And if you do know what that is, well, congratulations, you're probably already drooling because this thing is seriously impressive. Now, we've seen people in Fallout try to build cars before. Usually it ends up looking like someone glued a few walls together and said, yeah sure, that's a Mustang. Spoiler, it wasn't. But this is different. This is a truck that actually recognized as a truck. You walk up to it and you don't need a tour guide explaining what you're looking at. Your brain just goes, yep, that's a unimog. Cool, now why do I kinda want to drive it? And here's the kicker. You can actually go inside of it. I mean, come on, that's next level. Most vehicle builds in the game are hollow shells. They look great from the outside, but once you try to step in, it's like walking into a cardboard cutout. This one, no, fully accessible. The builder didn't just make the outside look good, they actually built an interior, which means you can finally live out your post-apocalyptic trucker fantasy. Yeehaw! Detail-wise, it's stunning. The way the parts are merged, the way the lines all come together, it's the kind of build that makes you want to zoom in and inspect every inch, just to figure out how the builder pulled it off. And let's be honest, it probably took them 6 hours and a slow descent into madness to line up half of these objects. But hey, the end result is so clean that even Todd Howard himself would look at it and say, yeah, it just works. And speaking of functionality, it actually does. You can walk through it and use it, hang out in it. Everything is placed logically. Nothing feels out of step. which in Fallout terms is basically witchcraft. Most of us are just out here clipping generators into our floors and pretending that's fine. But this builder has somehow managed to make a truck that functions like a camp. Honestly, that's unfair. Share your secrets, Kova. But let's not bury the lead here. The real wow factor is just the way it all comes together. From the outside it's jaw-dropping, from the inside it's fully usable. The whole package is so convincing that you half expect the wheels to start turning and the whole thing to roll away while you're still inside trying to use the cooking station, which honestly would be peak Fallout chaos. So hats off to you, Kova. You gave us creativity, detail, function and one seriously cheeky little truck camp that puts most of our sad survival shacks to shame. And hey, if the Wasteland ever does introduce drivable vehicles, I know exactly whose camp I'm stealing. For now though, this unimog isn't going anywhere, except straight into the Hall of Fame for builds that make the rest of us feel like we've been playing Minecraft on easy mode.
These builders almost made it. Moonlight Cowboy, Lady Sugar Bomb, Baker Boy, Six Samurai, Shameless Trouble,
And that's it, Wastelanders. Another camp clash wrapped up, and wow, what a ride. We've seen blimps, we've seen trucks, we've seen cottages, even something that looked suspiciously like a Ferrari. But only one build can walk away with the crown this month. So let's announce the winner.
Say the magic word, Buddha.
Why should I?
Just say it.
Okay. Would you please announce the winner?
That's a good boy. And the winner of this month is not Barry. No, not just Barry, but not Barry. Like regular Barry, but with not in front. Congratulations, not Barry.
And that's it, Wastelanders. Another camp clash in the books. We laughed, we cried, we questioned why so many of you insist on building bathrooms without walls. Huge thanks to all builders for bringing the creativity, chaos and occasionally server crash. Big shout out to our guest judge Red Rocks for somehow surviving the tour without rage quitting. Seriously, that deserves an award of its own. As always, remember, it's not about winning, it's about making something so weird, so bold, so downright Fallout that people stop and say, wait, what the hell am I looking at? And really, isn't that the dream? So until next time, keep building, keep glitching, and for the love of Adam, please stop making toilet shrines. Or don't. I need the content, so yeah. See you next month, Wastelanders.
Next month is a Halloween special. That means extra points for the spookiest camps. This was a dope camp event. Want to compete? Join our Discord. Link is in the description. Consider subscribing for more camp-related content. See you on the next episode of Camp Clash.